What if the reason you still feel confused isn't because God is silent, but because you're waiting for full clarity before you take the first step? Just think about that for a moment. Because so many believers are standing right there, right now. You've been praying, you've been waiting, you've been turning it over in your mind again and again. And yet, something still feels uncertain. And that question keeps rising to the surface. Is God really behind this? Or is this just me? You don't want to make the wrong move. You don't want to be misled. So you stay right where you are, hoping that if you just wait long enough, God will reveal the whole picture before you ever take that first step. But what if that's not always how He works? In this video, I want to walk with you, step by step, through 5 clear signs that the Holy Spirit may be leading you. And I want to share something powerful, something that's already helped so many people break free from that place of waiting and finally move forward. The first sign is a recurring nudge. Because sometimes the Holy Spirit doesn't begin with something loud or dramatic. It often starts as a quiet thought, a gentle direction, something that keeps coming back, no matter how many times you try to set it aside. It lingers in your heart. It doesn't easily leave. You wake up, and it's still there. Now, that doesn't mean every returning thought is from God. But when something keeps surfacing in your heart, again and again, it's worth slowing down and bringing it honestly into prayer. Isaiah 55, 8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." And what this is saying to you is simple. God thinks differently than we do. So when something keeps returning, something that feels different from your usual thinking, it may not be coming from you. God can place something on your heart that you never would have planned on your own. So pay attention to what keeps returning. The second sign is that the leading may come with fear. A lot of people assume that if fear is present, it can't be from God. But that's not always true, because sometimes the Holy Spirit leads you towards something that stretches you, something real, something costly, something unfamiliar. And in those moments, the fear you feel isn't always a warning sign. Sometimes it's simply the weight of something that truly matters. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." That verse isn't saying you will never feel fear. It's telling you that fear is not meant to have the final say. Because when the Holy Spirit is truly leading you, He doesn't leave you stuck or paralyzed. He gives you something to stand on: power, love, and a clear, steady mind. So even when the step feels hard, you can still choose to obey. The third sign is that your heart begins to align. As you keep praying, something starts to shift. The leading is no longer just a thought in your mind. Your heart begins to lean in a direction. You feel it, a deepening burden, a quiet, steady peace, or a growing conviction. Something inside you begins to settle. Philippians 2:13 says, "For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." And this is so important. God doesn't only work through your actions, He works within your desires. So when your heart begins to move towards something that honors Him, that shift itself may be part of His leading. Because the work of the Holy Spirit in you will always draw you closer to God. And that's one of the clearest ways you begin to recognize where it's coming from. The fourth sign is that the Holy Spirit leads you toward action, not endless hesitation. Because there comes a moment when you have to stop only thinking and start responding. Not because you have every answer, not because everything is perfectly clear, but because you trust God enough to take the step He's already placed in front of you. James 1:22 says, "Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says." Spiritual life was never meant to be just about hearing. It's about responding. And if God has already made something clear to you, staying in hesitation won't always bring more clarity. Sometimes, the next level of understanding only comes when you choose to obey what He has already shown you. And this leads to the fifth sign, which may be the most important of all. Clarity often comes after obedience, not before it. This is where so many people get stuck. They want the full picture before they move. They want to see the entire staircase before taking that first step. But that's not usually how God leads. Psalm 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." And a lamp doesn't illuminate the whole road at once. It gives you just enough light to take the next step. That's how God often works. He shows you what you need for right now. And as you walk with Him in that, the path begins to unfold. So if you're waiting for total certainty before you move, you may be waiting longer than you need to. Because sometimes the clarity you're asking for is waiting on the other side of your obedience. So let me ask you something before we close. What thought keeps coming back to you? What have you been praying about for a long time? What step have you been holding back on because you wanted more certainty first? Could it be that God has already shown you the next step